This is for anybody out there who has ever had trouble believing in themselves. Hello, and welcome to I Know Nothing, where I have none of the answers. I just hope to have some of the questions. I hope that you'll forgive the lateness of this video. I've been trying to set Sunday morning as my time to put out videos. As of now, it has just crossed the midnight point into Monday. I had a pretty busy few days there, and I after everything I tried to finish last night, I did try to come back out here and make a video for this channel, but my brain was too fried by that point, and I just couldn't put two thoughts together to save my life. So I was looking through the list of topics I had written out before to talk about, and there were some I didn't feel like I had everything I wanted in place to be able to talk about them properly last night, and even tonight. There's some of these I want to spend a little more time and care on than just to turn on the camera and talk, although not much more than that. So this one, I feel like is actually pretty relevant to what's going on and what I was doing, where I was busy, and a pretty relevant topic to my life right now, which is doubt. And I have in parentheses next to it, sticking with it, meaning sticking with whatever you have your doubts about. For anybody paying attention to this channel, you know that at the same time as starting this channel, I was putting together the pieces of starting a main channel or reaction channel. This is basically a decompression channel where I mainly just vlog or just turn on the camera and say whatever I want. A lot of my primary efforts are going into this reaction channel that I'm trying to craft as well as I can into something, hopefully something. Trying to answer the question that if you put everything you have into a channel, if you put all your professional efforts into it, you do the best job you can to craft it, you do the best job you can to build it into something, how far can you get? How likely is it you'll be successful? And you have to learn along the way too. You have to take advice and study and learn from difficult situations too. And that's where we come to this, we come to doubt. This is for anybody out there who has ever had trouble believing in themselves, as I have had that problem for quite a while, especially when it comes to my creative efforts. I have a tendency, especially if I'm trying to do something creative professionally, which I haven't had the opportunity to very much yet, unfortunately, in my life, to discount my own efforts very quickly, to throw in the towel way too easily because I feel like it's just not going to work. I'm impatient and I'm down on myself too much. And this time, while I still have some breath left in my body, I'm trying to do it differently. I'm trying to actually see slow progress or failures as learning experiences, which has been hard for me over my life. But you hope that with years comes some wisdom, at least if you're humble enough to pay attention. You have some humility about you. And I believe I have at least that. I hope that I've gained some knowledge over the years. So I've done pretty well so far, not getting discouraged, but I have had moments. I have 3 actual reaction videos up on that channel so far. Not all of it has been smooth going. There's been choices I've been able to look back on now and say, yeah, that probably wasn't the best way to go about that. But I've learned from it, and I've tried to use it to inform what I'm doing going forward. And then there's been some, minor successes, some things that like, okay, it is slow, but it's supposed to be. I'm building something from nothing. It's not just going to take off out of nowhere. At least that's not how it usually happens. That's not what you should count on. But any progress forward is positive, and I'm trying to appreciate it for that. And I'm trying to see what I can learn from everything. What can I do better? What did I maybe make a mistake with that I can change? And trying to have patience with it. And when starting this effort, I actually went one night, I don't know why I did this, but to the first video on an account of the first video on the account of the first reaction channel I ever watched. Because I never would have thought of reaction videos as a thing before that. And I don't even remember what video of theirs was the first one I watched. I'd have to go back and look. I'd probably be able to figure it out, but I went back to the first video they ever posted on their channel, just to kind of see where they started, because they're doing pretty well now. They've been at it for a while, and they've had to go through lots of different evolutions and changes and different things like that. And I hadn't intended to do this when I went to the video, but I commented on it and I said, you guys have inspired me to try this myself, to try putting together my own reaction channel and pulling together the pieces right now. Thanks for the inspiration and wish me luck. they actually responded, which I didn't necessarily expect. And the one thing they told me was to be patient with yourself. And so I'm trying to do that. But it's something else I feel like other people struggle with too. We all, or I shouldn't say we all, but a lot of us struggle to believe in ourselves. Even though somewhere in the back of our mind, if we're honest, we know that we're capable of some things. We know we're pretty good at some things and that we can certainly get better, just like everyone else does. The barriers that we think stand between us and those who are able to do the things we want to do are not usually as steep as we like to believe they are, as we certainly feel they are. It's a great example of a situation where there is a big difference between logic and emotion. But it's difficult to believe in yourself sometimes. It's easy to think, or it's easy to get down on yourself and think, why do I think I can do this? Why me? Who the hell do I think I am to even try something like this? Or to easily get discouraged, like, yeah, it's not going to work. It is the people that can keep going in the midst of doubt like that, in the midst of hard times and discouragement and failure and even successes, but lackluster successes, things that don't take off as you'd hope them to. Just any number of things that can get people to stop. It's the people who keep going despite that are the ones who have any chance at all of actually making it. The people who will keep going when everyone else has quit. And I try to be one of those people. I've been one of those people in my professional life for so many other people and so many other purposes. One of the people who won't quit. It's time for me to try to be that for myself. Even though my self-worth issues will keep me from feeling like I deserve it, it's time to stop waiting. It's time to stop putting things on hold and saying, oh, I'll do that eventually. Eventually may not come. It's time to stop waiting. And so I am. I'm going to try as hard as I can and see how far I can go. And I'm not saying that's just a reaction channel on YouTube, although that would be wonderful. I don't know where it'll all end up. I have some ideas. I have some things I want to do. But you have to start somewhere, and I need a creative outlet to utilize to start. And this is one that I can start using as soon as I set up and turn on my camera. So here we are. And if you're watching this, first of all, thank you for sticking with this long. But if you're watching this, you're part of this too. Just this channel being here for me to vent to talk to, and also because there's a weird thing about making a vlog. There's a weird thing about making videos like this. It feels like you're talking just on your own, but you kind of are and you're not. I'm in a room by myself right now with a camera, but I'm putting this somewhere where just about anyone in the world could eventually see it if they want to. I don't know if anyone will ever want to, but there is always that. It's part of the process. It's me verbalizing how I feel and what I'm going through. And maybe you find some similarity in that to what you're going through. Maybe we should all try to believe in ourselves and each other, help each other, encourage each other. Don't, blindly just overpraise things. People won't believe you then. Be honest with people, but always end with hope, always end with encouragement and positivity, always end with, hey, pick yourself up and keep going. Because that's the hardest thing to do when you get really discouraged. And to that point, there's a couple of different images I will share with you. Oh no, real production value on just my vlog channel here. Don't want to scare you away with screen graphics. Watch how fancy these are. But the first one is a quote by Neil Gaiman. I've had this on my computer for a while, and I really need to put it up somewhere that I can see. I need to put both of these up. There's Mr. Gaiman, looking as lovely as ever. This one's specifically about writing, but I would say this applies to life in general. And I apologize for inspirational quotes, but as an aspiring writer, this helps me. But I feel like it applies to a lot of things. Obviously, someone asking him, how do you write? How do you become the kind of writer he has become? And if you don't know who Neil Gaiman is, please do yourself a favor and look him up. This is how you do it. You sit down at the keyboard and you put one word after another until it's done. It's that easy and that hard. And that's true of life when you're trying to do anything. You just start. You just start and you keep going until you've gotten there. And some people will say, what if you never get there? What if you never reach the goal you're trying to reach? And that's a valid question. That's a fear. And that's one of the things that I feel gets a lot of people to quit trying. If I try for the things I want to try to achieve creatively for the rest of my life and never get there, that to me would still be better than having not believed in myself enough to try, not believed in myself enough to dedicate part of my life to the things that are creatively important to me. And not all of our lives necessarily, You have to have a job, or you have to take care of people you love and care about and yourself. Those who are lucky enough get to do the thing we love for a living at some point, which means we don't have to divert our attention towards something else just to keep the lights on, he says in a dark room, purposely dark room. To me, between those two options, there's no question. And I think if a lot of you feel the same as I do, you'd have to admit, when you're honest with yourself, you feel that way too. The other one is a more recent image that I found, and I'm definitely going to have to put this on my wall somewhere. And you'll see why now. This is a version of something I think we've all heard a great many times before, but this one I find funnier. Just because, a mouse wearing a helmet. You've only failed if you have given up. Until then, it's called learning. That might seem very cat poster-ish or mouse poster-ish in this case, as far as, we all think about the cheesy, eye-rolly motivational posters and motivational quotes and all of that, and it's true. There's a lot that are generic or preachy or just ridiculous, and you're like, oh, that doesn't have anything to do with real life. But this does. This is completely true. If you haven't given up, you haven't failed, because learning and your effort toward doing something are going to be filled with failures. That's how you learn. That's how pretty much anybody who has ever learned to do anything has learned. So don't let it make you stop. Let it make you learn. Let it make you change things. Okay, what could I have done better? Maybe I need to redirect what I'm doing slightly, whatever. But keep going and give it all you can. I hope that all of you know that anything I say like this on this channel or anywhere else, I don't say because I'm lecturing or preaching. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm just trying to figure it out like everybody else. That thing I say in the beginning about I don't have any of the answers, I just have some of the questions. I wholeheartedly believe that. I hope that I've learned a thing or two over the years, but in some ways I'm still just figuring it all out myself. I get the feeling that there are many of us who spend our whole lives doing that. So if what I've said here, or anything I ever say out here, is of any value to you at all, is entirely for you to decide, obviously. But if you're here, I'm grateful. I appreciate you being here. If anything I said has been helpful, I'm grateful for that as well. I'm honored. I hope that I've brightened your day in some way. I hope that I've helped you in some way. And please do me a favor. Believe in yourself. Even if you don't feel like anyone else does, or even if it's very hard for you to, especially if it is, try to believe in yourself. Try to take one step towards something you want, and then take another. And I'm telling you, even if you never get there, which you may very well surprise yourself, heading in the direction of the thing you want always feels good, always feels right. At least that's been my experience. So I hope I can edit this down into something. I hope this has been of some value. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.